Okay, so first I want to ask, when did you wanted to get into acting, first of all?
Well, it kind of just all happened naturally. It wasn't something that I would say I was pursuing. I actually wanted to be a pediatrician first.
Hmm.
So I think as a doctor mindset, my mind was in the idea of entertaining children anyway. And I think that's how I fell into acting and doing things here and there in school. And it just fell into my lap a little bit, you know. I love to entertain.
Yeah, so like just like Renee, were you also trying to like beatbox and do the rapping as like her, first of all, in real life?
um, that was interesting because when Taina first started, I was singing, and then naturally we just went into rapping. I never really rapped. I did do poetry, so maybe that whole vibe when they saw me, that it evolved into rapping a little bit. And just the silliness of who I am naturally, I think it just was like, she'll do it. It'll work.
Yeah. So how did you get the role, first of all? Was it like an audition?
Well, me getting Taina was a lot of work in terms of booking the character Renee. I actually auditioned for many, many, many different roles within Nickelodeon. I auditioned for all of that. I actually auditioned for Cousin Skeeter as well, which Megan Good ended up getting.
Mm.
And and then from there, because I guess I lived in the New York offices for so long in terms of auditioning one after the other, Maria Perez-Brown, who of course is the producer of it, I guess saw a lot of my tapes and she said, you know what? I'll take her. So that's how I then became Renee, because it really just started with two of us.
Mhm.
And Maria did something very different in terms of her approach for Taina, because it is a school of performing arts. She said, I want kids with talent. And it has to be real talent because it's the school of performing arts, you know, especially in New York, LaGuardia, or any of the performing arts schools. You have to audition to get in. So
Mm.
she was like, I'm going to do it a little bit different. These kids have to have real talent. They have to be able to do everything. And myself and the other girl at the time who was playing Taina, we went around singing and dancing, and we did our first song together. We did 702's Where My Girl's At. So I was singing then. So that was our first like real thing in terms of Maria casting us and going out there and trying to see the goods that we had.
702. I remember the year that song came out. So is it true that Taina it debuted in 1999 when you guys shot the pilot?
Oh yes, in '99 when we shot the pilot, it was right before my high school graduation, because I graduated in 2000 and I was in actual high school when we were doing all of this and running around and recording, and yeah, when that song came out, we thought we were the next 702.
Right, right. But it's funny because I remember when 3LW debuted on the Blue Mascara episode, I was like, 702, like friendly competition right there.
Exactly, there you have it. 3LW, 702. We had, I mean, and at that point too, we had all the stars really on our show as well. So
Right. And after you got the role, everything was sent into production. You find out you're going to be moving to Florida, the Nickelodeon studios. But first, what was your first impression of the place, the building, Nick?
oh, well, it was amazing. Of course, when you have, we were all New York City kids. So here you have kids from the city going to Florida, which to us was like a little bit of the country because it wasn't as crowded and you had to drive everywhere. You couldn't get on the subway or the train. And it was amazing for us. And of course, our first time in the studios was for Double Dare. And that by itself was, we were on cloud nine. We were like, we are ready for this. New York City kids were like, we're ready for the challenge. We're ready to battle. And it was beautiful. It was huge. It was spacious. It was just anything that we could imagine, especially as coming, high school kids going down to Florida.
That's something. Double Dare was your first time in the building. That wow, yeah, that's one of the best episodes actually. Well, how much fun was doing that game show because it was already an iconic show at that point.
We were stoked when they told us, okay, your first thing going down there isn't going to be Taina. You're going to do Double Dare, and you're going to battle No One Knows Best. That by itself was, we just couldn't believe it. And we said, we're ready, we're excited. We were ready to get slimed. We didn't care. We had bandanas on our head. We were just ready. We were like, yeah, we were in our trailer. It was our first time actually all seeing who this cast was going to be right before we aired, and really went into recording our first season. And it was our first time really all meeting each other. So Christina Vidal, Latangela Newsome, Christopher Knowings, myself, we were all together, and we said, you know what? We're going to have the most fun before our season even begins, and we're going to battle Noah Knows Best, and we're going to come out winners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, did like David Oliver, did he miss out on that? Was he not cast in the part yet? Because I noticed he wasn't in that episode.
Right, he wasn't there yet. I think they just took 4 of us, and I don't think he was cast yet. But David still jokes. He's seen the video, so he jokes on us all the time about how we were acting and everything that we did. And I was the first one to get slimed, mind you, as well. The very first 2 minutes into it, I'm the one who got slimed. I couldn't even protect my hair throughout the whole thing because, you know, that's we were concerned about our hair. And I was like, we're going to last. We're not going to get slimed. 2 minutes, first one, slimed.
Yeah, I love that, too. I tasted the slime. It's very sweetish, sour kind of flavor, though.
Yes. Well, we said, they told us at the beginning, they were like, oh, don't worry, everything is edible, and, you know, it's like whipped cream and food coloring. So the whole time, our whole cast, we're foodies. We love food. You always caught us at craft services. So when we all heard this, we were like, great. We just kept eating everything. We didn't mind getting slimed. We wanted to do all the physical challenges, and we were like in there and eating all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have been the same way. I'm a foodie myself. Like, just food, put food in my face, I'm gonna eat it. Yeah, but that's just me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's really awesome because Double Dare 2000 was there, and No One Knows Best was there, of course. And like, so do you remember other shows that were taping there at the same time? Was there others?
Well, in that studio, then it was just us. We were there at the same time. I don't believe that. I just remember No One Knows Best. All those guys were like our brothers. I mean, even though we did win a Double Dare, we became really great friends the whole time while we were sharing the space. It was like, you know, a whole family.
Right, right. And the best part about it was that you guys all won, but at the end, you guys broke out into this big food fight with Jason. You guys, oh my God, that was awesome. Like,
oh, yes. It was so much fun. There wasn't a day that went by at that studio where there was nothing but fun. And that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it's just fun. I've been there myself. It was truly just a remarkable place during that time period. Yeah. But when Taina got into production there and you guys are filming the first episode, like, what was a typical day at the studio just to like film an episode, basically?
Well, to film an episode, it was, you know, a lot of work, but again, because we were so close and because it was so natural for us, we were kids in high school, and they were in New York City. We came to work, we drove there, we got there, you were in hair and makeup, and Monday and Tuesday is kind of when Monday was our table read, and we would tweak things and see what was funny, and then we would get new scripts at the end of the day, and Tuesday, you know, we would put things on our feet. Wednesday, sometimes, depending on the episode, we might actually pre-record things like, you know, Taina always went into fantasy world. So Wednesday was like our fantasy day to record the like music videos and that kind of thing. And Thursday, we really blocked it with the cameras, and every night we would either get new sheets, meaning if it wasn't funny and people didn't laugh, we would get some changes or things that sometimes we created on our feet. We were a really funny and creative cast, so sometimes we would say things just out of our mouths, and they would be like, oh my God, that's hilarious, let's write that in. And it was great in that manner. We were able to be creative, and especially at a young age, you know, sometimes it takes time for you to be able to write or get your feedback in, but with Maria and for Caswell Hyman being like they were the writer, you know, like it was a collaboration that I, you know, haven't been really able to have in a long time. So.
Mm-hmm. And like most sitcoms, Friday was your tape day, the audience coming in. And what was the best part about having a live studio audience, first of all?
Well, they told you the truth. I mean, I guess I also, again, from New York City, Broadway theater is something that you are around a lot more, and the feedback that you get from your audience right then and there tells you, are you funny? Do they get it? Is it working? Is the show gonna be a hit? You know, like you're figuring it out all based off of the feedback and the energy of the audience. Especially a lot of things that Renee did, because it was mostly comedy. You know, you had to figure out if it landed, and you got to change it up, and you got to say, oh, my work did work, or they didn't get it, so I have to change it up and, you know, fix it for the next time that we do it. And just, we had like live, before the show even started, you know, we had people hyping up the audience, and as we would go scene to scene, we'd give high fives to people, we'd be signing autographs. Just that love and the energy, it makes you, you know, who gets to go to work and have like almost like a cheerleading squad behind them, and that was us. We were like, yeah! So it was exciting.
Yeah, it's just a natural feeling to have that too. And not only that, there was like a tour that would pass by where a group of people, they're like a soundproof glass stage from up above. Do you remember that?
Always, we'd wave up there. People would knock on the window sometimes. And, you know, you always had to be on your A game because people were always watching, you know, especially then, you know, there wasn't the Facebook and that kind of thing, but we always had people watching as they come through the glass window. So.
Yeah, and how great was all the staff who worked there? Because I always hear positive stories about having everyone was so wonderful to work with.
Oh my goodness, the staff! I still talk to some people today. Like, there was a PA who was there. His name was Alan Raymond. I still speak to him now. He's a writer now. He writes stuff. He speaks to my mother all the time. And even what I do now, I still am connected to all of those people. Like that family connection and the help and the support. I learned to be in the editing room because the editors who were down there let me go in the room. Anytime I had a break, that's where I was, in the room with them, or the camera guys and craft services and our makeup ladies. It's phenomenal, and a lot of the life lessons that I'll take with me for the rest of my life came from those people and little sayings and quotes that all of us in the cast still share with one another. So.
Yeah, I was just saying the same thing about a couple of people about this, about you guys were in Florida. It wasn't like a big upscale place like New York or LA. You guys were really trying to work together, and you guys had it easy because it was more of a laid back kind of feeling to be shooting there. That's
Right.
what I see it as. But you know, I'm a New Yorker myself. I forgot to tell you that. Like Queens
Really?
here, yeah, Queens, New York here. But yeah, and I've been to Florida, at Orlando. I have family living there. But for you, like, because I always know what the feeling is like. But what was it like living and working there in Orlando? First of all, what was one of the good things about it?
Oh my goodness, I got my license in Florida. I didn't have to take my test. I think it was actually even when I did Double Dare that I decided not to take my test in New York. I took it in Florida. It was much easier, much more laid back, and it was just spacious. You go from being in these tiny spaces in New York City, and fast-paced. And again, we were all New Yorkers, really, from that set, and to be able to come down there and just to really take the moment in. Because when we did the pilot in New York City, and then to go to Florida and be able to like really relax and enjoy the moments that you know that we'll never get back again. I think that was the golden moments of what Florida had to offer, and really like we had. And the weather. I mean, we were like outside all the time. We had cookouts, and between our choreographer Dave Scott and Latangela, who would cook all the time, like it was just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and also great shopping malls there. Did you guys used to go to the mall and get recognized too?
We shopped till we dropped. That was a problem, but we did shop. The outlet malls right there on like I-4. We shopped. It was great, but I have to say that we did spend a lot more time frying fish and eating amazing different foods all the time. We were a group that really was dedicated to food, different food, and traveling to different restaurants. I think I would say we shopped, but we ate a whole lot more.
And one of the best things about filming there was you guys were in Universal Studios, first of all. I mean, what was your favorite ride to go on, like an attraction? I'm sure you had one.
Oh my goodness. I just thought about like the Incredible Hulk because that was like the craziest ride that we could go on. And literally every time we had breaks, we would schedule like our first time in Universal, we went on everything. Then we did like a schedule of how long each ride was. So right when we were filming or in between takes, we would say, you know, like if they didn't need Renee, I would say, okay, so how long do you think it's going to be until you need me? And they would say like 15 minutes. I'm like, there was a list. I'm like, okay, I could get on this ride, or this ride, and still be back. There's no show. Like even when we went to LA, it was not attached to an amusement park. You
Right.
could literally go there and get on rides, and that's like living life, to have fun and to still be like a child when you're a grown up, and in between takes, go to an amusement park, get on anything, go on the little kiddie rides, go on the big rides, and we didn't have to wait on lines, you know. So we were always going and trying to take advantage of how fast we could get there, how fast we can get back, and how many rides we could go on. So we took advantage.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you guys had to move out to LA. Was there a reason for that, though?
I think just because of where Orlando was in terms of like the things that it could offer our show, it was getting bigger. We needed more celebrities, and in order to get celebrities, that LA was the place next to go. New York was really too expensive. Nickelodeon had the lot and the studio already in LA, and they just wanted us to grow and do bigger and better things. And unfortunately, in Orlando, we could only do but so much. And our time there, for as fast as it grew, we had to go to LA.
Yeah, I could figure that too. It was getting more bigger and more wiser too.
Right.
But unfortunately, Taina was canceled after 2 seasons, and to this day, so many people are still upset about this. And
Me too.
yeah, I mean, we don't know what happened. There's so many people say it got too expensive. It was appealing to more to girls. But in your opinion, do you know what happened?
So many. There's been so many things. I mean, like you never really know. I know the one thing it was is that it had nothing to do with the ratings. That I know. We did have a great fan base, and it just is one of those things that's Hollywood. You know, one of Maritza's lines were, showbiz is fickle. You never know. And that's just what happens. Talent had, there was rumors that it was, talent had different needs and, so many different things, but we never got the memo either. We just knew that, unfortunately, we weren't coming back. And there was no, how, some shows get their season finale, show. We thought we were coming back for a third season. So we were kind of sad. We still talk about it to this day. Again, we're all, still friends. We talk on Facebook. We miss it. And, I just really don't know. Make a long story short.
It's okay. Yeah, because, it's what it is now. So many people, they still love the show. And how does that make you feel? Because Taina is secluded with the 90s Nickelodeon things, and so many people have said that they love it, and it's made such a positive impact on the people's lives. And how does that make you feel, though?
Oh, it makes me feel great. I mean, the fact that, especially during that time, Taina, to have a Latina girl in the lead role, with a Latina family, especially with Lisa, and, that, in particular, the portrayal of her was so fantastic. It was like the Latin explosion time, and for Taina to be there and for people to love it and for people to still today, I just had, a bunch of people on Instagram say, oh my goodness, I love Taina, and that's like the best, because you want to do work where people like it. Of course, you don't want to do anything where people are like, thank God it's gone. You want people to want what you did and what you were a part of to come back or to have an effect.
Mm-hmm. And also the show taught life lessons too. It wasn't just like fancy and dancing and entertainment stuff. It was really like family bonding, was the importance of friendship and family. So I really like that too. And what are you up to these days? Because so many people want to know that. Are you still acting? Are you doing that still? Like,
I am. I'm still acting. I'm doing a lot. I think after Taina, I went on to college. I got a full scholarship to Carnegie Mellon University, and I majored there in theater and drama, and became class of 2006. And from there, doing Taina, actually, I did so many voices on there. I had a Caribbean accent. I did things, like I was talking with my Caribbean ting and ting. And, people hired me to do Dora the Explorer voiceovers. And especially after now becoming a mom, I kind of go behind the camera and I do a lot more voiceovers these days. So even who I do, the show that I'm on now is called Angelo Rules, which is a Cartoon Network show that you can see on Netflix.
yeah.
And it is someone, the casting director was an old Nickelodeon Taina person, and also the person who writes and directs is also a Taina person as well. And that's how you go when we talk about the family and the family love and connection. I play a little boy. And there I am, and I do a whole bunch of different voices. I do audiobooks, and I'm also a teacher. I'm still, like I said before, that my first love really was to be a pediatrician. In some way, I think I love to entertain, but also leaving a message. So I've been in the education system, and continuing that learning for young children, and I get to play all day while educating, having fun, being behind the camera, doing voiceovers, and the best of both worlds.
Yeah, okay. Angela Rules. I love that because you like voice acting because you're in the studio like you said earlier, editing the sound booth. I mean, being there just must have been a beneficial part of your career, first of all.
Absolutely. I direct so many things. I learned that, I think that's an important lesson that I learned by being on Taina, is that you don't just have to be on any show or anything that you do in life. Just because you are given like the one title, like I was the actress, doesn't mean that I can't take it as an educational moment to learn about all the different things. I was always in the booth. I was with Maria. I was with for Caswell, Hyman, Anthony Hill, in the writing and seeing what they're doing. You get to learn all things because you never know what you might fall into, what you might love, and what you can use later on in life. And I used all the lessons that they taught me. They might have even just thought that they were teaching me acting and the role of Taina, but all the lessons that they gave me taught me things that will take me forever in life and that I use today in many different assets and things that I do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do you have a favorite behind the scenes memory from being on the show? Like it could be like in Orlando or LA, first of all. Do you have a favorite one?
Wow. We have so many. When we filmed in LA, you got to see our bloopers. So a lot of our bloopers are a lot of our favorite moments, but I will bring it back to Orlando and say there was one amazing day that a very special guest came by our studios, and like you said, there was the glass with the people touring around. We had to shut the studio down for those tours, and we were like trying to figure out why. And No One Knows Best was there that day, and myself and another No One Knows Best cast member, we were in the dressing room. And they said, nobody can move from where they are. We have a special tour coming through. We're like, who? Who is it? And they're like, Michael Jackson. And I said, are you kidding me? I'm supposed to be changing and trying on my outfits for the week. I was like, leave the door open. I want to see Michael Jackson. And when he passes by, I was like, don't close the door. Whatever you do, don't close the door. So I never got to talk to him. But I did get to see the whole moving security and him walking past, and that just made my day, my life, and it was like amazing. But just the opportunity to be there and to have a Michael Jackson moment is just phenomenal. But Orlando in itself, I have created lifelong friends that I will forever, ever, ever know, and they will forever stay in my heart. They have made me grow. and they are family.
Yeah, I mean, the show just, I really think the show helped a lot filming in Orlando. You guys got to start there, you guys got to make lifelong friends, but in LA, it was more of a business influential, but still, there was something about, in my opinion, these shows filming in Florida that was really held timeless memories inside people's hearts, and especially the fans' hearts too, who got to visit the place.
Right.
That's how I feel. Like I said, the Nick Studios has closed now, and so many people miss it. But would you like to see it reopen one day? Do you think it should come back?
I would love for it to come back. I would love for it to come back so I can create my own show now there in those studios. I think, when a space or an environment creates memories or legacy, and as you've been doing this, you said you've done 91 interviews, 91 people, it made a difference in our lives, and much, much more. Those studios did so much. When they did Snick Live, we were out there and we were recording with live people there as well when we did, when they were like these little commercials. It's made a mark, and you always want that to stay around when a place has made that kind of impact. You don't want it to go away. Again, now I have children. I go to Florida. I go there. I go, to the parks, to be able to go back in there and say, this is where mommy was, and look at it would have been great. To take them on a tour, for them to get slimed, would have been great.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my point too. And you probably just said it, but what do you think made Nick Studios in Florida so great and special?
I think the idea of where a kid can be a kid, I think that's it. You only get to be a kid for a short period of time. You get to be an adult a lot longer than you get to be a kid. And to be able to be goofy, to be able to get slimed, to be able to see your favorite actors, on a show as you walk by, to sit in a live studio audience and have that experience as a kid, on a kid level. There's so many things that you could do as an adult. You can sit in Saturday Night Live or, any of these older shows. But to be able to sit in a show for a kid and have a live audience theater experience just for them, they don't do that anymore. And we need the moments like that for kids to last forever.
I totally agree. One of the good things about doing this project is just hearing your stories, and that's why I want people to remember this place, that it was a landmark in children's television, and it did so many good things for the network, and it was nicknamed the world's first headquarters for kids, basically. So
exactly.
Where's
the headquarters now?
Exactly.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah, nowhere to be found. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. I got a whole nother generation, two little kiddies who are looking for where a kid can be a kid.
Yeah, just tell them that, hey, you're doing this interview now. Like, maybe one day this could happen. Just tell them that one day.
That's right.
Yeah, and before I let you go, I just want to say one of my favorite episodes was Singing with the Enemy, where you, Christina, and got to be in that group. Do you remember?
Oh yes, it's actually one of my family members, Marcus. It was his favorite episode, and he loved it, and I've watched that episode more than any. And actually, Kim Fields is the one who recorded that episode. She directed that episode, and it was hilarious. When I say we had to stop so many times, Kim, she as the director, we would be acting and she would laugh so hard that we had to stop because it was so funny, and we would be like, Kim, we can't keep going. And it was so, that episode is like the highlight, and I think the episode that really showcased what we were about, what we could do, and how funny we were, and it was just hilarious.
Yeah. I could still sing the song. You should stop hating. You should stop hating.
Oh my gosh! Good for you. I'm like, what is that again? But there you go.
Yeah, there you go. And were you a trained dancer at first? Because you guys had to do choreography on the show too.
Oh, darling, we had to be fierce in everything. You had to know how to dance, how to sing, how to twirl, how to kick, how to flip. like I said, Maria did a great job in casting a great group of people who could do it all. And we had a great choreographer. We had choreographers from Dave Scott, of course, who's like out of this world. We had Swoop, right? We had Swoop. We had Janet Jackson's choreographer. We had everybody. Like when I look back, I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize all these amazing people that we had. But we had a good group of people, and then let's just say if I couldn't dance, they sure made the magic to make me look like I could get it.
Yeah, you nailed it down, girl. I was like, what? Yeah, she got it right there.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, but I'm really enjoy because one does not allow stories about Taina, about the audience, and interviews about the show, basically. So I'm really happy that I got to talk to you, a cast member now.
Yay, thank you for wanting to talk to me.
I have to say I really enjoyed talking to you, Khaliah.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Okay,
Have a nice day.
thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.